Seth?
Are we doing this, or what's going on?
Yeah. I sent you an email.
Am I in the right place? I'm in the Google Meets joint.
Oh, no, Zoom.
Okay, what's you sent
There's a Zoom link right beneath it. That's why, I noticed that. Peace. All right, we are on. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, sir. That's right. This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We got my partner in the house, Mr. Career Crossover. Kevin Carr from Pro to CEO. Happy New Year. Look at that helmet right there behind us. What that helmet behind us?
What?
Georgia Bulldog.
Yeah, baby.
Yes, man. The champions, baby. The champions. You a champion, baby. Once again.
Hey, man, we appreciate it. And my man, Joel Sylvain from what?
Brooklyn's in the house. No doubt.
No doubt. Yes. Man, last night, if you all don't know, our company had a great high-performing evening with one of our clients. If you didn't watch the national championship, the Georgia Bulldogs, that's right, that big G in the helmet came out and represented, and they finally got over the hump with their leadership, with their team effort, with their chemistry, with their execution, and really, not missing any critical plays, and et cetera. And let me add to that, from an administration and management standpoint, all the time that I've been, and yes, we have them as someone I work with, all the time I work with them, I've watched how they continue to be consistent with what they do, and what we thought would happen eventually in time would transfer not only from the employees and staff, but to the coaches and staff and student athletes. And that's a high-performing evening. National champions, you saw it, the Georgia Bulldogs. And yes, the big reveal, yes, Georgia Bulldogs in the house. So yes, Pro to CEO, very happy for our client. And we just want to continue to look at how organizations create power moves in themselves. And that's sort of what the show is about. We're going to be talking today about all kinds of things, but most of all, how you can learn from our content and from our guests on how to make a power move, not only from the people you hear from, but for yourself, and how to apply it and make sure you get the best. Because what I've witnessed over the last almost 2 years working with the University of Georgia Athletic Association in particular, with different teams, all the way from women's equestrian to men's golf to men's swimming and diving and football, as well as basketball, women's basketball. Every team, every coach, every staff member is, when you commit to something and you're consistent with it, you can have high performing results. And the culmination of almost a couple of years of work really resulted in the entire organization experiencing a huge win in the sport of football. So we're excited for them. We want to continue to uplift them and give them their props, because that's not easy to do. So congratulations to the University of Georgia, my client, and now national champions. We are delighted for you and your continued success. Keep building on the training and development you do as a high performing organization. So we're happy for them.
Absolutely, man. I'm happy for you because, you took the crossover, leaving the NBA after 14 seasons as a high level executive, making power moves, created the D League into the G League, and been part of the careers of some of the staples there, the Chris Pauls, the LeBrons, the Dwayne Wades, et cetera, Giannis.
Come on now, mess my mayonnaise up.
But the fact that you bring that championship mentality, you also emphasize the importance of community involvement, staying tuned to what's going on socially and the impact of that. And then lastly, and equally as important, is the importance of the collective pot in focusing on diversity, innovation, and inclusion. Right.
Absolutely.
So, kudos to you for a job well done, Professor. Professor, Mr. Career Crossover. But let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the world of sports. Of course, we talked about Georgia Bulldogs winning the championship since 1980. Woo-wee.
42 years.
Yeah. The NBA is getting sizzling hot. That boy, Jay Morant. I mean, this happened 2 days ago, but that block was something serious. This guy has hops like no other. Like,
you have to give props to him coming out of a smaller environment and people not expecting him to be such a big player. So do not underestimate a book by its cover. He's playing in a grown man's league and has established himself as a grown man.
He's a star. I mean, you know what? I didn't even check to see how he's doing in the All-Star standings.
He's doing it respectable, and they're balling really well as a team. Now, remember, it's one thing to be the guy who can play really good, by yourself and create your own shots and defend, but he has brought that collective energy to the entire organization. There was a time when Memphis was like, hey, we don't know if we want to be here. Now they really putting, to doubt any rest that wherever they go, they're going to be contenders. So Memphis, y'all better do what y'all need to do to keep that team there.
Yeah, they better.
Is going to be something to reckon with. And anybody who's been around him, he's infectious. He's contagious. And he's like, David and Goliath. All respect due to LeBron. He's his own version of LeBron where he is. So much props. Good insight too.
And what's interesting, Memphis, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're 4th in the West Coast.
Oh, absolutely. That's not an easy league, obviously.
You know what I mean? So for them to he's carrying that team, so it's pretty incredible. The Pittsburgh Steelers made the playoffs. To all my friends that are Steelers fans. Woo!
You know what? The most interesting stat is, coach himself, no losing seasons. I mean, that has gone viral. And that's a notable fact. We should have known about that years ago. Why is that just now getting props? My man ain't never had a losing season. Really? And we're just seeing that, man. But Pittsburgh is, they're doing their thing.
They're doing their thing. They made it to the playoffs. The Raiders made it to the playoffs too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas, baby.
Let's switch it over to the entertainment. Let's do the crossover, man. Shoot. Give us
entertainment. Well, our girl Candy Curris, from Real Housewives, is now looking for content, folks. Once again, content is key, everybody. So especially now in the world of data,
is even more important though. Good content is even
good
more
content important. Yes, absolutely. And so she's looking for folks to work with. You have Fat Joe, most recently in the Bronx, so I'll be remiss not to talk about it. There was a devastating fire that killed about 60 people and injured a lot more. And right now it's cold in New York. I mean, we got our short sleeves on. We doing all right here in Tampa, Florida, but in the Bronx, you got a lot of folks that are homeless. experiencing this. So please go to Fat Joe's site or go to my friend Sean Pecas on Instagram, in which you can donate money or donate clothes, anything that you can to help support these people who are, I mean, this is an inopportune time for something this unfortunate to happen. So, but the good news is, entertainment is giving back. Today is Mary J. Blige's birthday. Happy birthday to MJB.
All right, Queen. Go ahead, Queen.
Our boy D Nice is going to do a CQ Club Quarantine. Well, now he doesn't want to call it Club Quarantine. So it's a CQ After Dark party. What after this? After Power Moves.
So follow Joel over to the party.
That's right. That's right. Melba Moore is getting ready to make an announcement by the end of this month. So stay tuned to that. She got her song Auntie, So in Love.
What's going on with Auntie Melba? She got Auntie Carr.
Man, Auntie Melba, man, she's doing her thing. Just to let you guys know, she does have a linen line now.
Oh,
yeah. So she got some exquisite linen sheets. I'm about to get mine.
Hey,
right in time for Valentine's Day.
Okay. All right. Okay. Turn it up.
Turn it up.
All right, Melba, go ahead.
That's what we doing.
Making a power move, right?
I'm trying to think anything else happening in the world. What's interesting is there's a lot of folks independently are putting out records out. So please pay attention to Spotify. One of the biggest things that I would share with folks is if you find an artist that you like on Spotify, if you can, please listen to them on Tidal, because on Tidal they get more money off their publishing than they do on Spotify.
How is that? To break it down real quick, because a lot of people don't know that. That's a real important factor.
So this is the reason why. So one of the things, Spotify is the one of the first leading platforms in streaming, but Tidal was the one that was created by Jay-Z and the artist. So the artist knew exactly, what they were getting. So it was Jay-Z, Rihanna, Kanye, Madonna, a couple other folks I can't think of off the top of my head. So they made sure that the royalties are going to be better. And Tidal came after Spotify. So now, he sold Tidal to Mark Dorsey, who owns Twitter, who just resigned several weeks ago. And now he's just focusing on Square. And, the reason why he's focusing on Square because he understands that blockchain and
Square's
that's
a good
where
product too. I use Square. And that's great.
That's where everything's going to be, going the peer-to-peer, exchange and wallets and things of that nature. So
no doubt.
Please, that's a power move. Do your research. Pay attention to that.
And one last thing in the entertainment space, great movie hitting for young people. We're about families. Is Encanto. I need y'all to go see that. A really, really good piece. Latinx inspired all the way through and through, but the lessons are universal, classy, well done. The songs are just epic. They will be around for generations. If you have not seen Encanto, sit down with your children, with your cousin, little auntie, nieces, whatever. Very good piece. I highly encourage it. I've probably seen it about 4, 5 too many times in my household.
Oh my gosh.
But my kids love it. And the kids, they love what they love. And it's a great piece. Great job, Disney. Great job, Pixar.
Yeah, Disney's always on it with the Pixar. And of course, I can't forget Mr. Bruno Mars, as my producer said. Yes, Bruno's definitely killing the game, really bringing a fresh air to R&B. Refreshing. You can dance to it. You can get your groove on, the whole 9 yards.
Old school too.
That's right. And by the way, The Weeknd came out with his album.
Okay.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Okay. I think we have to go to break. Why don't you take us to break, bro?
Yeah, we got to go to break. So
when we come back,
that's the name of the song. So once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We're going to go on break up only here on In Touch News Radio, reality radio where everyone is a star. See you after the break in about 2 minutes.
Are we offline or? So are we offline or?
All right, we are back.
All right, let's jump into it.
So this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We have a special guest today on the show, man. I can't wait to introduce this guest. I'm telling you, this is an honor and a pleasure knowing this brother for a long time. That's all I'm going to say. But this man provides, he is the owner of his own law firm. And what he does is he provides sage and highly attentive legal counsel on transactional and strategic matters to clients ranging from Fortune 100 companies, financial institutions, governmental entities, and public benefit corporations to even investment funds. He provides counsel to a variety of companies from early stage to mature, as well as non-for-profit corporations. He brings over 20 years of governance, corporate securities law, finance experience in providing sound advice to clients as they pursue their business objectives. His extensive experience in corporate law and finance matters includes the offerings of fixed income instruments such as municipal bonds, institutional private placements of debt securities, bank facilities, equity securities, convertible notes, preferred and common stock, limited liability company interests, warrants, amongst many other investment products. His experience in advising clients on compliance with federal and state blue sky security laws matters, including the Securities Act of 1933, Security Exchange Act of 1934, Sarbanes-Oxley 2002, Dodd-Frank 2010, and the Jumpstart Our Business Startups Act of 2011. In addition to that, he represents parties in mergers and acquisitions, transactions, joint ventures, license agreements. Also participates in market-leading ventures, nonprofit entities, anything from antitrust violations, intellectual property infringement, and general business litigation management. He's also a specialist in related minority and women-owned business enterprise programs, has drafted MWBE focus laws, assisting clients on majority MWB mergers and acquisitions and joint ventures, counseled on MWBE certification eligibility and compliance. In 2010, he's represented the coalition that worked closely with the New York State legislator and New York State Pensions Plan in enacting the New York State Emerging Investing Manager an MWBE financial institution strategy, a law to encourage more diversity in investment advisors, financial institutions, and other professional firms that provide services to New York State pensions, insurance, and other funds. In 2016, he published a comprehensive paper, The State of New York MWBE Programs and Inflection Point. He continues to provide extensive work on behalf of NWBEs, a member of the Mayor's MWBE Advisory Board. He leads the New York Urban Progress, a nonprofit corporation that provides information about the current state of MWBE law. And he's an awesome husband, father of 4 kids. God bless him. That are doing really well. Welcome to the show, Seth Bryant from Bryant and Rubino Law Firm. What it do, my NYU brother?
Well, thank you so much for inviting me, Joel and Kevin. It's a real pleasure to be on with you brothers. Boy, I have to change my bio. I was about to fall asleep about a quarter of the way into it my damn self. So suffice it to say, I'm a deal lawyer. I like helping people do deals, and we've been real privileged to do a lot of those. I would like to digress a little bit, though. Just real quick.
Of course.
On the entertainment side, I think this is a family show, and one of the entertainment, points. My brother James Mtume passed away.
Yes.
And I want to just bless up Toombs. Everything that he is about, he just was a wonderful artist, an important artist for our time, and a political activist, and definitely, he's with the ancestors now, and that's where he will continue to guide us. But I want to bless him up.
No, absolutely. And on that note, we need to also Sidney Poitier. As well as and another one that was an activist,
sure, absolutely,
in front of the camera and out the camera. So and he showed entrepreneurism way back for us in the entertainment field. So that is thank you for that catch, Seth. So man, welcome to the show, man. How have you been doing during this pandemic?
We have been well. We've been blessed. We've had family members and colleagues who have had it. Thankfully, folks have pulled through. Got some friends from home who haven't pulled through. So it's been a beast. But my family, fortunately, has been okay through it all. Business-wise, business has been it's been a very strange time, obviously. With the whole remote work, experience. I mean, for us, it's been pretty seamless. But and so business has been good. It's been kind of perverse that business has been good, but I love the work from home aspect, and so the pandemic, all in all, managing like everybody else, but okay, and got health. So
that's awesome. One of the things is, nobody's spared in this. So the biggest opportunity, although it may seem like a current crisis, is the ability to get through it and find a way to continue to thrive. And it seems like that's been, part of your existence. So being that one of your specialties is the advising of companies in the market, can you educate our audience on how you help with those aspects?
Sure. So as it relates to what we do as deal lawyers and how we counsel clients, we basically have when our clients, sometimes they're small businesses, entrepreneurs, sometimes they're bigger companies, they come to us with a need. If it's a entrepreneur, someone who's trying to get a business off the ground, they may want to be certified as a minority or women-owned business, and we'll help them get their documents in order to do that. If it's a bigger company that is wanting to buy another company, they may come to us to represent them as a buyer, or if they want to sell a part of a business, and we'll help guide them through those steps. In addition, when companies are looking or entrepreneurs are looking to raise money to get capital to run a business, we'll help them with the documentation and negotiating those business terms. So that's what we do as corporate lawyers, as deal lawyers. A big part of my firm's practice also deals with working with cities, municipalities and whatnot, to do real large transactions that help the infrastructure, help create the infrastructure, whether it's the subway system here in New York or a stadium or something to that effect, oftentimes, or airport work. Oftentimes, those huge investments, billions of dollars, include municipal bonds, and we're bond counsel to like New York City and MTA and various state and city entities. So we help in a lot of different ways, but what we do is do deals. We never go to court. If I go to court, it's a bad day. It means that something in our papers wasn't tight or wasn't clear enough, or my client had a bad situation, and so now it's in litigation. So I hope that gives a flavor. It's often hard to really explain what a corporate lawyer does. And when, Joel gave a good, recitation of my bio that spells a lot of it. But
well, you said the word deal making and making people at least put them in position to create opportunity and to make a deal. Everyone I know on the up and up who does great business, they're gonna like having a lawyer like you to make sure they're tight. So I get it, man. We there.
Yeah. I want to congratulate you, Seth, on your 13-year anniversary today. How about that, right? On you becoming an entrepreneur full blown. And I'm gonna piggyback off of what you talked about, and then I'm gonna go into my next question. But to provide insight, what is your opinion, especially with you doing what you do with municipalities, and now this infrastructure bill? They're still going back and forth. They'll finalize it whenever they will. But what type of impact do you see for MWBEs and things of that nature? And could you explain what an MWBE is?
Sure. So first, what a MWBE is a minority or women-owned business enterprise, and it's MWBEs are typically certified by a city or state or a private certifying body. And, basically it's a company that's 51% or more owned by minority or women. It's controlled by them, meaning that the board of directors or other management body and the CEO or the lead officer, would be, if it's a minority, if it's an MBE, a minority business enterprise, it would have to be majority controlled by minorities in terms of the board, and the chief executive officer would need to be a minority. And then it has to be independent. It has to have its own business. It can't be a part of another business that just exists and just says, we're going to set you up so that you can be a part of our business and you can directly get our MWBE flow. And, it can't be like that. That's kind of a front situation. So it has to be its own separate business, standalone, not relying on one customer, but can get, many customers or do work with many parties. So that's nice. What an MWBE is. And there's a lot of great opportunities for MWBEs. I mean, I actually started a firm back in 2003. And that firm got acquired by another business, talking about mergers and acquisitions. I became a partner of this Miami-based firm, through that. But in 2003, when I started my firm, I didn't even pursue getting certified as an MWBE because there just weren't worthwhile opportunities. It would have been a waste of time. But over the years, as MWBE businesses and as we as a group of politically active people have become more entrenched in government, there have been more programs that have created opportunities, especially in New York, for MWBEs. And so it's given an opportunity for folks to get work with the state entities or the city entities. And that is a tremendous boost for a business to really just have a foundation that it can then grow on. So MWBE programs are certainly worth looking at. Sometimes, I know a lot of people who have had, entrepreneurs who have had tough experiences but in the right environment and with the right business, it can be a real powerful tool to have that certification and to be in the lane to get those business opportunities.
So hold that thought 1 second, because we got to go on commercial break once again. We got to pay some bills over here. So but we're going to continue this conversation because this is very important, especially in light of, this new infrastructure bill and MWBEs for our listeners. So once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. You only hear this on In Touch News Radio, reality radio, where everyone is a star. See you after the break. All right. We are back. So we're here with our special guest, Mr. Seth Bryant from Bryant and Rubino Law Firm. And, the last question that we talked about is, what is the MWBE, a Minority Women's Business Enterprise? And we were getting ready to lead into the next question, which is, with this new Biden infrastructure bill, what opportunities are available, and do you see that being big? And then now I'm adding another question: do you see that becoming a really big boon for your business, being that you handle a lot of those, and your thoughts?
Sure. So, the Biden infrastructure bill, I'll say, there are two bills, right? There's the smaller infrastructure bill that got passed. That's like, I think, a 1.2 billion or something like that. So that's gonna happen. That's great news. And then there's the Build Back Better bill, which is the, one that has climate change, kind of infrastructure cost to, family paid leave or family childcare, I should say.
Yes.
Month and all of that. So that one, let's put to the side because that hasn't happened. But with the infrastructure bill that has happened, it's going to be very important to help shore up the country's infrastructure, roads, bridges, highways, airports, internet infrastructure, etc. It will help and give a boost, to all these things that we kind of take for granted. But what we'll see is a very, I think, a dynamic change in these things over the next 10, 15 years or so. It'll take us into the next generation. Now, what will it mean for businesses? Now, that money, that 1.2 billion, is going to kick off other monies that'll, be part of investment, but it'll, that money will be doled out to the states, and the states will dole it out to the local governments and whatnot. So as we talk about MWB opportunities, and you think about, businesses that are situated to do business with the state or the city or state authorities that do things like highway construction, like New York State Thruway Authority, or other things, businesses that play in that infrastructure space that, kind of do, cement, that can deal with cement, or can electricians, kind of all those kinds of businesses in construction will really have a lot of opportunity. In addition, businesses that are in the service sector, accounting firms, law firms, architects, and all of it, engineers will have lots of opportunities. And then companies that sell goods and products, goods and services, otherwise that aren't like as specialized, they should get opportunities if they're doing business with governmental entities with this infrastructure bill. So the infrastructure bill will really be a catalyst to a lot of businesses to participate, especially if the businesses are in states that have strong MWBE programs. Mostly those tend to be Democratic, kind of led states. And I think I'm not as familiar with some of the Republican-led states in terms of what those opportunities are. My sense is that they're not as strong, because when New York was led by a Republican, Pataki, those programs really weren't strong. So you really need motivated leaders in government that will ensure that all businesses are participating and getting an equal and fair shot.
Excellent.
Excellent response. Go ahead, Joel. You wanna?
Yeah. So my next question is, man, you had 13 years ago. Your kids were younger. You had a very comfortable wage with you were a partner at a bigger firm. What were you thinking when you decided to leave this comfortable wage and do your own thing? Like, that's a power move of itself, because it's a risk to take that jump, right?
Yeah, no, it certainly is. And I think I as I mentioned, I had started a firm in 2003 that had some success, got acquired by a bigger firm and everything. I became a partner of that firm. That firm ended up having a bad experience, and I went back to the big firm world. So that's before I started this firm, I was at a big firm as a senior lawyer, almost kind of a counsel of counsel. And so honestly, I was doing good stuff there. I had this practice called the urban markets practice, and my brother had just become mayor in DC. We were doing a lot of business in DC and in New York and all this stuff. But there was a guy who became head of that corporate group who wasn't feeling anything urban markets, and so he didn't like my initiative, and frankly, it wasn't, I needed to make a move. So it wasn't so much a situation of, me deciding, I'm at this cushy place and, I'll just start my own firm. It was a situation where, the politics of the environment, got a brother. But my thing was like, look, I had started a firm in 2003. We were going well. I did this deal with this guy and that didn't go well, and it landed me here. And so what I have seen is that, having these cats pull my strings or be able to pull my strings is not in my interest. I know how to run a business. I had done that before, and I was like, you know what, I'll do it again. And so that was really what, kind of, caused me to start, this firm that now, like, as you say, is 13 years old, had a, record year in terms of income. We're doing very well. And, and it has my name on the door. And so it is a real point of pride. It was one of these situations where, you just kind of had to take the step and really be, strong about it. And it was a crazy time in 2009. I mean, this was when the market had crashed and everything was going crazy. But the ironic thing was that it was a time of great opportunity because I was able to assemble a really world-class team of lawyers who had been affected by the quote-unquote recession. And so that more or less gave us the ability to then put together a strong group, go after business with this very strong group of lawyers, and we could basically undercut the big firms with big firm quality lawyers. And so it was a real it was a power move, frankly.
Yeah, what a risk taker. As I study your website and reviewing, your transactions, 6 months, you supported, man, let me tell y'all, $2.7 billion in bonds transactions working with the state of New York,
Mm.
and Mass Transit Authority, and several, school nonprofits. Brother, that's a lot of money to me. And your firm is responsible for handling the legal aspects of these transactions. How do you put these together and bring them to close? That's a lot of pressure. Share with our audience how you handle the pressure and make things go down.
Mm.
Well, that's a great question. I think it's, you can answer it on two levels. I mean, we're part of a team as if we're bond counsel or we're, buyers counsel or sellers counsel, we're part of a team. And, our job is to manage the legal aspect of any transaction, right? So, the way we handle it is, when the deals come in, we get it together as a team, strategize about what we need to do. And then, our role as lawyers is typically to keep the pressure on the deal to move toward the close date, to make sure the working group is apace, to make sure that the negotiations are going well, that the documents are tight. So how do you deal with the pressure, man? I tell you, it's almost, I think, like, I won't say a marathon. It's almost like a sports game or an event because, it's kind of like it has its own rhythm. It has a start, it has an end, and there's a lot of drama in between. And, you do the same things in terms of, you need to get rest. You need to, kind of, figure out where you are in the game and adjust accordingly. But when it's game time, you got to be there regardless. Tired, in a bad mood, feeling sick, it's like when it's on, it's on. And so, the way I approach it is I just try to live my life in a certain way every day. I try to get up early, I try to get my meditation on. I try to, take walks, daily with my lovely wife to try to, recharge and all of it, not maybe on a 20-degree day for sure in New York. But there are different, various things. You have to do the work, and then you have to reward yourself for the hard work is the way I think about it, by really enjoying life, doing the things that are worthwhile, that are important, as a person in terms of the community and all of it. I'm not, so that's, there's no real answer to how to, manage it all. I just think every person has to kind of find their balance of how they want to live their life and do it in a way that achieves their goals and where they have the impact they want to have.
Yeah, I like the context you put it in terms of almost like game time. A lot of it is about knowing the play to run, right? But you got to know your plays.
Yes.
And you got to know how to execute them well. So your right hand, your left hand, back and forward, all work together and you get it done. And reward yourself. Love that. Y'all hear that out there? My man dropped some jewels, helping us all, even us seasoned pros. We need to remind
That's right. Pace. Well, we're going to jump a little bit into the power segment before we go on our next commercial break. But man, I love the way you talk about you talked about recharging, even when you're going through the pressure, to make sure that you recharge and you spend that quality time with your wife, who also works with the firm as an attorney. That is awesome. And being that we have like one more minute before break, we're just going to wait until we come back after the break to talk about our power segment and respect segment all in one. Because, man, you got some jewels to drop in regards to how you created this team that helps you handle this pressure as you are going through these negotiations and making these deals happen. So once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. Only here on In Touch News Radio, reality radio where everyone is a star. See you after the break. All right, we are back. Once again, this is Power Moves, and we're here with Seth Bryant from Bryant and Rubino. So what I want to talk about is what is your source of power, considering the fact that you always are operating at a high level of execution, but yet you have balance as a husband, father, and a boss? What are you doing, man? What's your secret sauce? Because people are stressed out there.
I mean, it doesn't mean I'm not stressed. Don't think I'm not stressed. I mean, I think I try to manage it as best I can. What is my secret sauce? I always try to put something in front of me, as a goal. And right now my goal is to build my firm. My goal is to kind of bridge it with some of my interests in terms of what's going on in the world, kind of the crazy politics and such that are going on. So I put pressure on myself to just try to do what I need to do, to not get distracted by too much out in the world, and to just put it down. And I guess I almost feel it like I feel like I'm in a lane that is like the right lane for me,
Mm-hmm.
So it almost feels like it's just a mission, almost like a soldier mission, like just I'm doing what I should be doing, and I just want to grind and make it happen, and try to elevate those around me in my community.
That's excellent. I really like when you said, you found your lane, you found your gift. I think that's a gift in itself, to know where you should be. And a lot of people don't know that. But speaking of names and gifts, your name of your firm is Bryant and Rubino. So if people don't know, you actually have a unique structure. Your partner is actually a white woman, and I've noticed the diversity in your firm and looking at you guys. So how important is that in establishing your presence in the marketplace, and how has a diverse team really helped you serve? How's it served your firm, help you guys thrive?
It's a great question. I think I see the Georgia helmet behind you. This morning on our morning call, she started the day and said, go Dogs.
Is she a dog? She went to UGA?
She's from Georgia. She's from Georgia. So
that's a client. So good for her, man.
So it's one of these things where we were just looking to put together the best team of lawyers. I was looking to do that early on. And she was introduced to me by another lawyer who knew her practice as a real estate lawyer and thought, it was very complimentary to what we were doing. And so she and a lawyer that she worked with came and joined us. And, so like you said, she's an older white woman who's a real estate lawyer known in the space. I was our firm was a rising firm, getting really good, doing really good work, getting really good opportunities. And so I think it together really did help us to, kind of, have a broader appeal, I'll say, because, there were clients that she brought on that she had long-term relationships with that, helped us grow. And at the same time, she benefited by some of the relationships I had, as a real estate lawyer and all of it. And, so the diversity that we have has been, I think, certainly very good for us. She's helped us to, I think, get positioned and maybe for some folks who might not be as comfortable, working with a minority owned firm, you go in with her and it kind of is like, oh, okay, well,
keeping it real, y'all. Keeping it real.
Familiar, So she's certainly been a huge asset, and she's just a really good lawyer, and for me, she's been practicing for about 15 years longer, and so it's very nice to have someone that you can really, that has a longer perspective. I mean, we have other lawyers that are senior, but she's my deputy managing partner, name partner, and so it's been a very good situation.
Oh, excellent.
And I'll say we have other diversity in terms of we have two associates, one senior and one junior, that are from Africa, and or that have African origins and whatnot. They're actually from England, but Ghanaian. And so look, we have aspirations to do more work with folks focused on Africa, and do some of that now too. So I look at diversity pretty broadly, and look at the opportunity to really be opportunistic with some of those relationships.
Now, that's pretty huge. Let's talk a little bit about on the respect side. As an attorney, it's necessary in order to mitigate risk and provide opportunity for a great upside. However, the reputation for lawyers is sometimes that lawyers are liars. You could find that a little disrespectful. What do you have to say in regards to that thought?
Well, I think that ends up being about litigation, and I think people think that lawyers are slick with words, right? I don't think about that ever at all, really. If someone thinks I am, I just try to be clear, in my dealings with people. I try to be straightforward, and if someone looks negatively at me because I'm a lawyer, like I frankly don't care, so so I don't bother about it. I do feel that I think get more respect because of the degree and the profession. I often don't understand it because I'm a lawyer, but I'm a person like everybody else, and so some people will really kind of light up and be like, "Oh, you're a lawyer," like I got some like halo or something, or some special knowledge. It may give me different insight into certain things for sure, but a person like everybody else, and I'm often really amazed and impressed by lay people, non-lawyers that understand the basics of right and wrong, or the basics of the law, or more complex areas of the law, as well as some lawyers. So I don't bother with if someone's down on me because I'm a lawyer, and I don't get too puffed up if someone thinks that being a lawyer is something special.
That's excellent. And one of the things that we're trying to, define for our audience is, we kind of have a combo question here. So can you share with me, how does, I see in the background, the Black Wall Street influence you, and how has it ever placed a battery in your back? You know what I mean? Like, can you talk about that?
Oh yeah.
And then on the other side of that, the challenge of being, a Black leader, and perhaps you were treated disrespectfully, and how did you handle it?
So on the Tulsa piece, this is a picture of Black Wall Street. My great grandfather had a newspaper in Tulsa, in Black Wall Street in Greenwood, called the Tulsa Star. And my family, I was born in Buffalo because when that event happened, his home and his business were burned to the ground, and he and his wife, my great grandmother, were fortunate to be able to flee and save their 5 children and get to initially Massachusetts, and then ultimately Buffalo, because it's close to the Canadian border. So, but I didn't know, as a kid, I didn't know anything about any of that. Even Joel, when we were in college, I knew just a smidgen about that. And I was an activist in college. I was, but I didn't really understand my family's legacy in that regard. So he actually was indicted. My great grandfather was actually indicted as being one of the rabble rousers that started the thing. So he couldn't go back to Tulsa or anything, and they exonerated him in like 2006, 2007 or something. But with the 100-year anniversary happening last year, I think it just focused my family, focused myself on the fact that there's unfinished business with all of that. There's a movement now. There's a lawsuit, Justice for Greenwood, because Black Tulsa never got anything for any of that. The only reparations paid for that situation were the reparations paid to the stores that had guns, where the white mob broke into the stores and stole the guns and the ammunition. They got paid for their losses, but none of the victims got paid anything. And so Justice for Greenwood is pushing that lawsuit on behalf of the survivors, and they're using a novel strategy that to achieve it. But I'm motivated, and I have a law firm. My great grandfather was a victim, and my great grandmother, my grandmother was a baby and just narrowly escaped that event. So we're looking at options to represent the estate and go to Tulsa and go to Oklahoma and bring a case and say you got to make that right. I feel privileged to have a law firm to be able to do it. I feel privileged to be around today to do it, and so it does fuel me absolutely 100%. Now, I think you asked the second question.
Well, I was gonna let Joel close us out because we're actually getting to that point, man. We got too much.
Nah, man, we can. I think the producer can give us a little bit of OT. Give us a little bit of OT. But go ahead, Kev.
Nah, so one of the things we try to also is keep it real in the sense that stuff does happen even to very successful people. As a man of color, can you talk to us about in your professional experience, in general, you had a disrespectful incident. How did you handle it? How did you find your power in that? Because that's going to happen along the way to people. So
sure. Look, I think in the profession I am in, there's clearly a lack of diversity, and there are times when you're the only person of color in a room. Not as much these days for sure, but you also have relics. These people who kind of have spanned generations and are just nasty people. I can think of a time when someone said something, kind of slight, kind of, quasi a slight, but not really clear. And, whether he was intending to try to, I don't know, somehow, or he thought he was bringing me down or something. I think you don't stoop to that level if you know yourself. And that person to me was not worth me kind of coming out of my professional demeanor and maybe making a statement back to him that would have made me look kind of like I was wounded by what he said or even acknowledged what he said. So I kept it very high class and kept it very real, and just kind of didn't acknowledge and did my thing. I have to be honest that it's a shame that we are confronted with that today, 2022, right? Mm-hmm. But the reality is that there are assholes that are assholes to everybody, and my general way of dealing is, if you don't put your hands on me, you don't put your hands on my people, you don't say anything, disrespectful about my moms, my wife, my peoples, I'm not tripping too much about it. I got a bigger mission than to be, punching, somebody in the mouth because they said something stupid. That's not my, there may be a time for that. That wasn't that time, but there may be a time for that sometime.
So with that being said, man, thank you, Seth, for coming. We might have to bring you back with you and your cousin and talking about what you guys are working with in regards to, the Black Wall Street. But how do people do business with you? How do they follow you? Talk to us. This is your this is your time to do your commercial.
Well, I mean, please go to, BryantRabino.com, www.BRYANTRAB as in B is in boy, B as in boy, INO, Rabino.com. If you can find a firm there, I'm on social media, but I'm kind of private on that. So, everybody doesn't have access to that. I'm on LinkedIn, of course. But, look, I'm going to try to be more, kind of out there and really, build with good brothers like, Joel and Kevin. And, if there are people in the audience who should want, to chat, I can always be connected through these good brothers.
Now, one last question. You're not licensed in Florida yet, right?
I am not.
You need to expand to Florida, man. Everybody's moving from New York to Florida. You know that, right?
Well, no, listen, Florida's got its, many attractive aspects to it for sure. So, as the firm grows, I never say never, and Florida could be an attractive place, 100%.
Absolutely. Well, it's good always talking to you, my brother. Once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. See you next week, baby.